everyone, this is Cassandra from Homeschool Peace. Today I'm talking about plans versus schedules, and then I'm going to be giving you 5 great tips on how you can roll out a homeschool plan in your home. So to get started, I just wanted to talk about what's a plan versus what's a schedule. We use those words interchangeably, but really they mean 2 different things. A schedule is going to have specific times that things are going to be done. So if your kid does their math at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday and their reading lesson at 10 on a Tuesday, the next week's going to roll around, they're going to do the exact same thing on a Tuesday. Though those types of schedules provide some good stability for a homeschool, those things also make it so that you're not flexible. And as homeschoolers, we should have some flexibility in our schedule. Remember, we want our schedule or our plan to work for us versus us feeling controlled by that schedule. So then what is a plan? A plan, it's similar to a schedule, but instead we sit down and take a look at the things that we need to accomplish every single day with schooling with our kids. We figure out how long on average do those things take, and for my home, it takes us about 4 hours. So for me, it doesn't matter if we start our day at 8 o'clock and we get done by noon, or if maybe we start our day at 11 and we get done by 3. Those things are still getting done, the math and the reading lesson, whatever's on the list, but those are just getting done at different times. Because of that, you have so much more flexibility in your schedule, and when Friday comes, you're going to feel so much more accomplished as a homeschool mom. If a friend calls up and asks you to go to the park in the morning, if you were on a schedule, you could say, hey, I can't go because my kid has to do their math at 9 and then they have to do their reading lesson at 10. You're stuck on that schedule. Versus if you're on a plan, you can say, great, I'll meet you at the park. And then when you get home, you can just go right in to your homeschool plan, starting at 11 and finishing at 3. And you're going to feel so successful in your day. So now I want to give you those 5 great tips on how you can roll out that homeschool plan. So tip number 1 is get set up. What we need to do is just sit down and write out those things that your kids need to accomplish, looking at their curriculum or their books that you're working with, and write it out for just 1 week. And write those out in pencil so you can make changes as things pop up throughout the week. And if something has to shift from a Wednesday to a Thursday, you're able to easily make those changes without feeling frustrated that you're not doing exactly what your schedule says. Additionally, with getting set up, I like to the night before. It only takes like 15-20 minutes after my kids go to bed, and I just like to go through all their materials that they're going to be doing the next day. I pull some of the books out or what I need for a science experiment, and I just have those set out so that when I start the morning, I know what we're doing. I also like to look through their maths or reading lessons, things that I know that I'll need to teach that next day, and make sure I know how to teach it. So I'm not scrambling trying to read that teacher manual while my kid's sitting there waiting for me to teach them. We're able to quickly move into the lesson and just keep the day rolling. So that brings me to tip number 2. Set the tone for your home. What I like to do is the night before, I like to talk to my kids about what the next day is going to be like. I think a young kid can forget, hey, is it a Wednesday or is it a Saturday? Can I wake up and watch TV or play some video games, or are we doing school? So I like to the night before tell my kids what they're going to expect the next day. Hey, tomorrow's a school day. We're not going to be playing video games or watching TV in the morning. We're going to get our day going. And then when we're all done with school, then you can play those things. Those types of things, setting the tone for your home is going to give you a much peaceful day. So that brings me to step number 3. And I like this one. It's protect your time. As homeschool moms, we are so busy with our kids throughout the day, and it's hard for us to make time for ourselves. So what I do is I set my alarm clock and I wake up before my kids. And if you can wake up before your kids, you can take that time to get yourself fully dressed so that whatever pops up through the day, you're ready to go. Additionally, I like to get some coffee, and for me, I read my Bible time in the morning and have my Bible time. I like to set that time apart, and even if distractions comes in, a kid comes walking in the room, for me, it's prior to 8 o'clock, I tell them, hey, go back to bed for a little bit, or come cuddle with me. We'll go down for breakfast. In my home, my kids fully expect that their breakfast, their morning time, school time does not start until 8 a.m. Anything before 8 a.m. is my time. So for you, maybe before homeschooling, you used to exercise in the morning or read a book in the morning. Take that time, make sure you're still making time for yourself, because then you're going to be such more of a patient and peaceful mom while you're teaching. That brings me to tip number 4. Get your kids going. You see these jokes about kids staying home all day in their pajamas as homeschoolers. For me, I like to get my kids up and then get them dressed and get them ready to go so that they're set for the day. That just makes it feel so much better in the home. And then I like to just get my day going by having our group time. I gather everybody together and everybody knows, hey, school is starting. For us, we do our Bible time first. And that takes maybe 20, 30 minutes of having a group time, and then I move right into taking care of my son's assignments. For my son, he is my oldest, and he has the most work and the most things that I need to teach. So I go through his day first. And then I end by bringing us all back together again, having another group time. For us, we do our science together. And then I break off and go into my younger 2 kids. By having those times of group and then moving apart into my other kids and then bringing them back together, it just really makes the day sort of flow. I also use these nice little magnets that I created. I simply just typed this up on my computer, printed it, laminated it, add some magnets to the back. And what I did is I thought through, what are the things that we do every single day? Maybe it's not even every day. What do we do throughout the week? And I created basically one magnet for everything that we do. And then that night before, when I am doing that setup, I think through, what do we need to accomplish? And I create this little running schedule. And it's something my kids can look at through the day and see what they have to do. And they can also tell, oh, well, I only have 1 or 2 things left, or where are we at on the day? And they love to move that arrow. I also like to do this, having these as separate items, because maybe the day before my kid didn't get all their math work done. So in the morning, maybe we need to spend a little bit more time on math. So I could bump math higher up on the list so that we can then focus more on that. So I love that they're not connected and you can move them around. Now that being said, I actually, when I first created this, had this as a set one 8.5 by 11 sheet that I laminated, and it was a set plan, so it didn't move, and I just moved that arrow, and I realized I am feeling so restricted by this, and I don't feel any flexibility, so I just simply cut the strips, and I'm so happy I did, because now I can just move those things around, and I even have blank ones that if something would pop up that we're going to the library or a doctor's appointment, I can just write it on that blank strip, put it right into the schedule, and we can just move that around throughout the day, and our plan just goes so much better. All right, so that brings me to my last tip, tip number 5. I like this one as well. This is coffee break time. As moms, we are spending, for me, my morning time teaching, and I have my teacher mom hat on, and I need to be able to switch gears from my kids seeing me as a teacher to just being mommy again. And to do that, I need to have a break and I need to reset my mind. So when I'm done with school, I do my cleanup and I make my cup of coffee and I sit down, put my feet up, maybe it's like 20, 30 minutes, and I write a list of maybe other things that I want to do throughout the afternoon. Now, some of them might be things that I like to do, or maybe it's a chore that needs done, and I can write down those things so that then when I move out of my coffee time, I'm set to go, and I've switched gears from being that teacher to now just being able to be that fun mom. So hopefully you can take those 5 tips and be able to implement an actual plan in your home versus that schedule, and hopefully these ways will help you. So if you like these tips and ideas, please subscribe and also like this video. Talk to you soon. Thanks.